Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special Geek First episode. My name, I don't know. I have no idea.
Who are you?
I don't know. I'm the Clown Prince of Podcast, Travis Snell.
I am the X-Men, X-person, X-boy, Dylan Musk.
Oh, boy.
I'm the Cube Rider, Taylor Field.
Nice, good one.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be doing a tier ranking and also talking about the DLC of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, a game that we love, a game that we've streamed, we've talked about, we're going to keep talking about. We got the DLC coming out next month. So
we'll be talking about this until in 2020 We'll still be talking about this
till we get a fourth one. That's how long.
Well, the DLC is rolling out until 2020 at least. So.
Yeah. Until then, you can go check out. A few days ago, we just dropped a Spider-Man 2 PS4 kind of not predictions, but it was me, Dylan, and Kirkland talking about what we kind of wanted. It was the year anniversary of the game, so we never really sat down and did that. So we talked about like what villains could we see, what costumes, stuff like that. We did our It Chapter 2 review, very controversial one. You know, when I posted the link on Facebook, a few people have used the laughing emoji because I said it's the most disappointing film of the year. So we're definitely getting some pushback on that. But you know what? Listen to the cast first.
That's always the risky thing of dropping titles like that, right? Is you're just going to piss people off from the get-go right away.
But that's why I say. But it's a question mark. It's a question mark.
It still is. There's an implication to it.
I know, but that's why you listen to it. Listen to it because there's some good points in there. And then we got lots of good stuff coming up. You want to sub? There's going to be Star Wars Clone Wars stuff dropping. Joker coming up soon. Zombieland Retro is coming up. You guys just recorded, which will be on Patreon. And by the time this comes out, it'll be on Patreon, so you can go there. Patreon, you got lots of good stuff popping off at the $1 tier. Every single episode we release now is ad-free, so you don't got to worry about that. And then lots of good stuff on Patreon as always. November 2nd, our fourth, but really our third charity 24-hour stream is coming up. We're trying to raise $1,500, right?
I don't know. We still got to decide.
Yeah, but that's the average. We're trying to raise some money, and tournament, title matches, lots of stuff happening. Taylor, you excited for the tournament?
I am very excited for the tournament. Actually, I wrote some notes down that
you wrote some notes down
that I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I had a lot on my mind actually, and I just wanted to just get it out there that I just felt like I needed just to vent, you know, like I
vent.
So the other day I was thinking to myself, like I was very glad that this tournament is coming up specifically so I can get that title shot because you know you Dylan, you've given me no title shots, and I was really stewing on this because I feel like it's been really really unfair, and I feel like you have some kind of agenda against me. And to be honest, I'm sick and tired of this.
Okay.
You know, I don't know where this is coming from.
So my role as the commissioner was to you have to earn everything. So if you want to get a title shot, you got to earn it. And you got to prove it through multiple games. So it's totally up to you. Like if you had the skill, if you put in the time to practice, you know how many training sessions I offered to everybody? I offered to everybody. You know how many times you took me up on that? 0 times. You got no one to blame but yourself, Taylor Field.
You know, I think everyone's turning on me. You know, no title shots, no teammates. This is just betrayal. Well, this is just turning into. This is just insane.
Two things I'll mention as betrayal. You once attacked Kirkland with a baseball bat, and then you assaulted me, so kind of makes sense.
Multiple attacks.
I'm excited for the tournament. I have the best tournament average. Taylor Field over there, the first tournament he was last, and then he was second last, and he's third last. So you're climbing up, kid. Maybe you'll get up there, but I'm not going to say it's my year because I'm just kind of accepted that I'm just going to be the bride, never the bride of the tournament. I've already won titles, so I'm happy, but I just always get so close. But I'm sorry you feel that way, Taylor, about Dylan Musk.
All agendas.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to say spoilers, but there's no spoilers. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the DLC first. Cyclops, Scott Summers, and Colossus dropped, along with an Infinity Rift and some costumes. So what do we think about this before we get into our actual tier rankings?
Right. Well, I was surprised. I thought they would just drop these characters and the costumes, and that was it. I didn't think we'd get a rift alongside it. It is a short rift, but it's actually, from my experience, at least the most difficult content in the game. So they straight up added some awesome end game content, which I was not expecting whatsoever. So I'm pretty I'm still culling through it after what is it today? The DLC's been out for about a week at this point.
Yeah,
a week. I still have to beat some of it. I still need 5 or 6 more stars on that last rift because I don't have my characters maxed out yet, but I was just super shocked to see that, and it's like some really fun missions. There's like a Thanos, you have to do a solo fight against Thane, which I really, really liked. There's like a full-on boss rush one that takes like 10 minutes. So there's some really good content in there. The costumes, I don't have the Spidey one yet because I haven't beat all the Rift stuff, but it's they're pretty nice costumes, and they're full-on costumes. They're not just recolors. So I'm pretty happy with it. And then obviously the 2 new characters, I think they did a really good job with. There's a lot of like kind of cookie cutter moves in the base game. They had like a lot of types, that way they could do the synergies and stuff. So I was curious if the DLC characters, they're just kind of drop them with some similar sort of moves, but they totally blew away my expectations. They gave both Colossus and Cyclops some unique moves that no other characters really have, and they're really fun to play. And I mean, tier lists are coming, but they're pretty high up on my tier list.
Yeah, I agree.
All things considered, so I love it. I was super surprised, and this is free content, right? This isn't even one of the paid DLCs, so.
Yeah, well, I'm somebody, if you go back to the review, I bought this game I bought the Switch to get the game. One of the reasons was the trials, because I just love, like, yeah, they are lots of them, just the levels, but I just like different challenges, things like that. That's always something that interests me. So one that we got, one of those is great. The jump it's not that, this is on the con, but I find like the first like inner circle is quite easy. It's like you've been there, and then to unlock some costumes, you jump right away. It'll be like one rift is 34, and then the next one's like 68. It's like, I was not preparing for
like
that.
Up to 90.
So yeah.
They made it. I mean, they made it so you could get the characters easily, but then you have to work for everything else, which I think is a good way to do it.
Yeah, I'm fine with. So yeah, I like the rifts. I hope that we get rifts with. I of course want story stuff too, but if we get rifts with every DLC, that's super exciting for me. The costumes, I don't know if I think we've quickly touched upon them. Yeah, I think we did in a newscast, but I just still think they're all great. I haven't unlocked them all either yet, but I just think those are good choices. And then the characters, yeah, I won't say their rank either, but they're quite high. I was really impressed because I didn't know how it was going to go. This is our first taste of DLC, so this gets me excited for Moon Knight and Blade and Punisher and Morbius. But I just still laugh that he's in there. But yeah, I love them both. Cyclops has... It's not the exact same, but he has a similar kind of ideal move as far as like one of my favorite moves that they took out for Iron Man was kind of the ricochet of the plasma bullets, and he has like a big massive one. So it's not the same, and it's not as powerful as far as multiples, but it is pretty powerful. You get about 3 bounces, it can take out a lot of people.
It's definitely situational. Like some arenas, if there's no wall, then it's just not really that useful.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Move. But I think that's a good thing to make the character feel varied.
Yeah, and I like all his moves. I like that his quick attacks are punches and kicks. You got the classic Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 like roundhouse kick in there, but then his ultimate or his heavy is just like Hawkeye jumping back with the arrows. I love all his attacks. And then Colossus is so much fun. They're both so much fun. I was really impressed. I love the 2 moves where he picks up the guy and you spin him.
Yeah.
And I just love the fucking belly flop. And his
grab an enemy and just slam him in.
Yeah, and both their extremes are cool, but Colossus is just really cool. The fact that he just puts his fist on the ground and just breaks it. It takes a while. It feels like it's the longest extreme in the entire game, but it's cool. He just lifts them up. I was really impressed because they're not 2 of my favorite characters all time. I think Cyclops gets a really bad rep, but I was not like I was hyped because they are free, and I'll hype it for any character.
Their look is so good.
Yeah, and if they said like Howard the Duck's come to the game, I'm kind of hyped for anybody, but they really delivered above and beyond. So they've set a high bar, and I couldn't be any happier. And it's free, but like if it wasn't, I would have been happy with paying for this. So great job on this DLC so far. And these 2 characters I've been working on leveling up because they start off quite low, not quite low, just lower than other people. So it's like, I got to put some work into it, but that's fine. I'm planning on playing this game for many years. The rest of my life.
Dump some cubes in them as soon as I got them, just to get them up to my average
cube writer.
cube.
Feige Fighters. Taylor, what do you think about this DLC?
I haven't been able to invest a huge amount of time into this, but what I have played with, like, I really enjoy. The fact that it's free, you can't go wrong with that. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I mean, it's awesome. I like the skins. Obviously, like the new Rift, which I didn't realize that was coming, which was a nice pleasant surprise because the Rifts are awesome, and I love going through them after beating the game twice. It was nice to have that extra stuff to go through.
Yeah.
But the characters themselves, like. I like the 2 new characters. I think Colossus, he reminds me of Hulk a little bit, just with like, I think it was just his pick up move and slam down, but like it still doesn't feel like, I'm glad that they're their own characters. They're not just a complete rip off of another character, like moveset wise and everything.
He feels more agile than Hulk too, like a little quicker.
Definitely.
So I like that.
And I like that he has 2 grapple moves. It makes him feel like no other character has 2 kind of moves like that.
Yeah.
So that gives him like a unique type. And then also like his shield move, how you can walk around with it, because Cap and Black Panther have similar moves, but you can't. You're stuck in one spot when you use them.
Yeah.
So it's cool that they gave him the ability to walk around with that.
That I guess it's almost comparable like Wolverine's Fury, right? When he Furies up and he can walk around with the Fury. It's kind of like that, but it's not like a damaging effect.
He's
it's
just like full
proactive.
tank mode. Yeah. And then Cyclops is just... It's interesting. He doesn't really have a whole lot of stagger or stun,
No.
at least from what I use, but he's just pure damage and like big AoE
100%.
hitboxes.
I love
but
when
he
there's
does
50
a
enemies.
fuck ton of damage.
Oh, yeah.
And
that frame rate dropping.
The frame rate.
yeah.
Oh, I love that frame rate
Yeah,
drop.
yeah.
And I'm talking 10 frames a second.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Scott, that's what Scott does. I'm ready.
But yeah, I mean, spoiler for my list, but I really like Hawkeye and Elsa are like the two really only like full-on range characters in the base game. So I like that we get another one in there as well, just to mix it up. And he feels very different than them, obviously. But
yeah,
I like that
he's some
archetype.
striking ability, so I like that. You know, he can get down and dirty when he needs to be, and I like that now because I've played X-Men a few times. Now you kind of have a team where you could do a full like Avengers. You got an attacker, you got an energy-based person, you have the heavy. This with Colossus in there now. Now you can go Wolverine, Magneto, Cyclops, Colossus. That's kind of been one of my
full team.
Yeah, one of my groups run around.
Nice.
And it's fun. So
and they have a ton of synergies too, so it feels like they just mix well in with a lot of other
my
characters.
favorite synergy maybe in the game is I can't remember what attack it is, but it is one of the attacks where I think it's the one that's one of my favorite attacks ever is just the Cyclops holding that because it's similar to the attack that I want. Me and Dylan talked about this months ago. Is Nick Fury in the first game has this one where you're just shooting an AK-47, but you can move around with it. It's not as fluid as that because it's like you're deking and dodging.
It's a little rigid.
Yeah, but I still like you can go back and forth and take people out. And the best synergy I love is you do that and you get Wolverine's claws, and he's just doing the slash and it's just bouncing off his claws.
Nice.
It's my favorite
awesome.
synergy, and it's great because they hate each
I was
other.
expecting Cyclops to have a move like Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and Thanos all sort of have this move where they just shoot like a large beam and then you can move it left to right, which is it's awesome. It's a nice move, and I thought Cyclops would have the same, but I like that they switched it up. That instead of him moving his head around to aim differently, like you jump around. So I think that's one thing that the main game lacks a bit is just some mobility with some of the moves. A lot of them do feel pretty rigid. Particularly with a couple characters I'm going to bring up kind of near the bottom of my list, but I love that they gave both these characters some mobility in it, and I'm just it just really set a precedent for me that the fact that this is like the free DLC, I can't wait to see what we get in the paid DLC, and then even what else they roll out for free DLC down the road, because they've set it up now that like we're going to get more rifts with each one, and that's pretty insane.
And who knows? It doesn't have anything to relate, but just the fact that Smash did announce they're doing 5 more fighters, I'm holding out hope that these packs are not just it for it, because I would love more. And I just can't wait. I just want to know who's in these X-Men ones, because obviously Fantastic Four, we have an idea, but X-Men, I just can't wait to see who else is in there and who else maybe we get for free DLC,
Yeah.
So
Very, very exciting.
Tier time. So we all have different tiers.
Yeah, what are your requisites? Like what is it for you?
I went I have an F tier. I think that's pretty, self-explanatory. I got a D tier.
But I just mean like what are you rating this on? Like is this by like power of characters? Is it just how much you have fun playing with them? Is it like their team synergies? Like what are your
pure enjoyability for me? Yeah,
okay.
Pure and I because I'm not even go from like this guy plays little. It just when I look at do I go is this fun to play with? Do I like that? There is I think the only one that has that a bit more is the S tier has characters I rely on as this is a hard riff.
Right.
I'm going to them, but I think that's just
same.
also I like the way they play. So again, favorite. So mine is just based on who I want to play with, and maybe other than the F tier, I don't have F and a few Ds. I have some people from a gameplay standpoint. I go I don't know about that. I don't think they work the greatest, but I don't mention that too much because I'm not that I'm a mainstream gamer. So
yeah. How about you, Taylor? What are your thoughts on that?
My tiers that I have, so basically I was looking at it kind of like who have I invested like a lot of time with and who have I invested no time with. That it's not that I'm not going to, it's just characters.
There's so many characters.
There's so many characters, and I find more and more I'm running out of time. So in the time I do get to play, like I'm sticking with like my go-to characters.
Why are you running out of time? Are you sick or something? Are you sick or something?
Yeah,
Why are you running out of time?
No,
you get the game forever.
I'm getting busier with school, so it just makes it harder to sit down.
Oh, right.
If you don't pass this course, we're gonna take your game away.
Yeah. So usually, whenever I can sit down, I'm popping on the Ghost Rider because I gotta get him to level 100. That's my dream.
True.
So,
what about you doing?
So my priority here is like what characters I just have the most fun playing. The characters that when I have a tricky riff, who am I going to count on when I need like who do I know that can just like get some really mean stagger in there? Who can do some good damage? But I think there is also this aspect where like how good the characters, like how powerful they are, comes into it as well. Because naturally, those like the better the characters, I think that makes them like just more fun naturally. And as I mentioned before, like some of the moves in this game are cookie cutter. Like it's just the same move, like copy and paste it from one character to the next. And I think a couple characters suffer from that a bit worse than others, where it's like it just feels like they don't have anything really unique about them. They just kind of feel like, oh, I just pulled this move from that character, this one from so and they just kind of stitched them together. So I think those characters are a little bit lower on my list as well, but mostly it's enjoyability and who I rely on the most. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, so you and me are going to go first, Dylan and I, pronouns pal, and then Taylor, because you have 5, I have 7, and I really have 6 because there's only one person left here, and then you have 8. So
Yeah.
we'll knock ours out quickly, and then link up when we get to the 5. I'll start with mine just because I only got one in the F tier. It's Rocket and Groot. I remember for the very first time I played with them, like, not digging this, and I still haven't. Even the D tier, I have characters that aren't that fun, but even the D tier, if it was something like, hey, you're forced to play with this person for a few hours, I'd still like, okay, I could have some fun with them. I didn't have much fun at all, Rocket Raccoon and Groot. I think they have some fun attacks, like there's that one mine or grenade ones, but other than that, and eventually I'll put more time into them. I don't plan on doing it in the near future, but I want to go to a point in my life where I do have everyone in the game 100 and play these
I think that there's always a good way to experience a character is if they give like a nice solo trial for them and they have like a specific challenge where you really got to figure out how to play that character well. Like I think that increased my enjoyment of Thanos a lot when I played his solo trial against Thane. I really started to appreciate how that character is designed. So I feel like Groot and Rocket might be one that kind of fits in that tier as well. Because to move right onto my list, in my D tier, I only have 2 characters in here. Groot and Rocket is one of them just because I just don't know like how they fit into the team. I don't really know what to do with them. They feel a little awkward. And then the other one is Doctor Strange at the very bottom of my list, which if you looked at our pre-release, our hype, who are we most excited for characters, Doctor Strange was number 1 on my list. So he has by far taken the biggest leap because he has gone from the very top to the very bottom. The reason for that is, one, he's just so much fun in the first game. He's so weird. He has like so many unique moves between the box, between like the mind control, the heal, the weird pixie move. Then he also just has like beam attacks, between the weird ass throw. Like he just has so much going on. But in this game, he feels very generic, and that's a big disappointment for me. All of his moves like just set him in one place, and you're just kind of stuck there for like 3 seconds, which doesn't bode well because he has no HP, so he just dies really fast. His heal is it's really clunky. It's also very bad. It just doesn't heal for very much. The only move I like of his is the I think it's called like the Bands of Cyttorak or something. It's the one where she shoots out the red beams and it like binds enemies.
Okay.
So I like that one. It's a pretty simple move, but really only him and Spidey are the only characters that have like bind moves. It's pretty rare attribute, so I like that he has that. But overall, he's just a major disappointment for me, and I'm pretty let down.
I like that back-to-back one he does, so...
It's fine. Yeah.
That will transition to my D tier. Yeah, I got Doctor Strange in there as well. I just did number tiers kind of tributing to the game there. So yeah, Doctor Strange, I just think same as Dylan, they could have made him much more unique as a character and they didn't really spend the time. I got Luke Cage, Gomorrah, Falcon, Black Widow, and Crystal. These are all characters that I do still want to play with more, but it's anytime I get in there, I put them on a team, I play with them for a little bit, then I go, I'll switch them up. I don't think any of them are really bad, but it's just no one really gleamed on to me. The next tiers are a bit better. So, yeah, still kind of in the bottom half. But again, I like almost all these characters. So.
Right. This is kind of tricky because we all have different ways we tiered these. So we're trying to keep balanced here. I'll go through my D tier and then maybe you can rifle off your bottom tier. Does that sound pretty accurate? So my D tier, I have 5 characters in here. These ones are just characters that I feel are a little awkward to play, or... maybe they just don't fit my playstyle. They just don't click with me. It's going to be Deadpool, Iron Man, Falcon, Drax, and Venom. Deadpool's a weird one because I feel like he really should click with me. Like he's got teleportation, he's got fun melee moves, he's got range moves, he's got like a bomb. He's got a lot of different stuff going on, but I just find him awkward to play. He just doesn't fit well. And yeah, Iron Man as well. Just I don't know. He's kind of a letdown for me, honestly. As a little, I had high expectations for him, but kind of dropped off. And the rest of them are they're just fine. I guess I just don't have a whole lot of enjoyment for them. So those are my 2. That's my D. That was my C tier. So those are my D and C. What do you got, Taylor?
Okay, so on my lowest tier, it is called the Pay for Your Sins tier. So this is basically characters. It's the characters that I do want to play at some point. They're just kind of. It's not the characters that I find the worst. The characters I want to play. Just need to eventually get to them. So I got Electra, which I really want to try. Spider-Gwen, Storm, Spider-Man.
Wow, Spidey.
Yikes.
I'll explain why.
Wow.
I picked a favorite out of the Spider trio. I have a personal favorite now that's like superb. And then Wasp, Hawkeye, Thor, Nightcrawler, and
Damn, this
Crystal,
is breaking my heart.
Venom. These are characters that I want to try. They're not at the bottom because
you just don't
they're
have too
my
much
worst.
experience with them yet.
Yeah, I want to play them. I don't have much experience with them. The next tier after that would be more so like characters that I'm not like super excited. They'd probably be below this because I play the other tier first, but it's the way I organized it. It's weird.
I'll piggyback on that because my C tier is kind of similar to Taylor's, where the D tier was people I've played with, and I go, I'm probably going to invest time in them when I'm done with everybody else. The C tier is people that I've liked some, but I didn't fall in love with anybody, and I didn't consider them having a really fun time to be like keeping on team that long, which was, funny enough, sorry Taylor, was Miles Morales. It just didn't click with me as much as the other Spire people. I don't know why, and I saw his gameplay. I was looking really forward to him. I do, again, though, these are all characters that I want to play more. Where the D tier, I'm like, I'll get to them. This is that I want to invest more. Miles Morales, Storm, Iron Fist, Psylocke, and Nightcrawler. Anything to mention? Iron Fist, yeah, I think they've just still never really nailed Iron Fist in these games yet, but I gotta play with them more, have some fun. Psylocke I like a bit more the last time I played with her, so, and not even talking about the second game, just like at first I was like, and I've liked her a little bit more. Storm I haven't put too much time into, but I've liked what I've played with, but I usually lean a bit more towards like brawlers and like power types, so she's never much for me. And Nightcrawler is kind of lackluster. I think maybe if I can build up his powers a bit more, maybe I'll enjoy him, but I've never really liked him in any of the games. I just don't think he's not that strong of a character, so he's pretty weak in games and stuff whatnot. And I like Nightcrawler the character, but in games he's not something like lean on to me. So this is the I'm going to get to them, and I want to get to them a little bit later. So
fair enough. My next tier is the B tier. So these are the characters that are definitely, so everyone else like after this above I really enjoy playing, so that just goes to show how many characters I really love in this game. But this is kind of the last tier where it's like they just feel a bit lackluster to me. They just don't really click, but I still like these characters more than the C and D tier. So these three, Gwen Stacy, Nightcrawler, and Iron Fist. So Nightcrawler and Iron Fist similar. They just don't work with me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Spider-Gwen. Maybe I got to play her more or something, but I like the other Spider people more.
Love that.
And then one more in B tier, which might be a surprise. It is Scarlet Witch, so she's dropping all the way down to B tier. I like the character. She is fun. To me, the biggest problem is that there is such a focus in this game on the synergy attacks, because synergy attacks like guarantee critical hits. They're just really, really powerful. Scarlet Witch has, I think, like 9 or 10 synergies in the whole game. Like one of her moves has a synergy, and it's not even a common trait. So she just has like she just doesn't fit well on any team. Like it's hard to see where she's best put, and instead it just feels like there's other characters that do what she does but stronger. Her heal is also it's better than Strange's because of the AoE effect, but it still is pretty weak. Like it's not going to really save you in dire moments. So unfortunately she's a bit lower. I hope they change her a bit at some point, like just give her more synergies, maybe one new ability that has some more synergies. I don't know what the solution is, but right now she just doesn't have enough power, I think, and even though I like the concept and I like the look, it just doesn't. It's not enough to carry like how bad she is, I guess. Yeah, that's my B tier.
Okay, my next tiers, like I said before, these are characters that they're under the previous tier I said for what I want to play. Basically, this is One Last Ride tier. It is Black Widow, Elsa, Daredevil, Deadpool, Falcon, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Miss Marvel, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, and why am I blanking out on this one character here? Oh, Psylocke, sorry.
What'd you write?
What's that?
You wrote something that's confusing, I'm guessing.
What do you mean?
What do you have for Psylocke?
Why couldn't you remember her name?
Her look threw me off.
Oh, you have pictures. Okay, fair enough. Okay,
yeah.
I was like, what's your nickname for Psylocke? Thunder Thighs?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are characters that, eventually I will get to them, but I'm not in any rush to try them, and it's just because there's other characters that I just value more. So
this tier sounds like it's lower than the other one that you had.
It kind of does.
Because they're characters you haven't played, but you're not excited for these ones, but you're excited for the other ones? This is a classic Taylor tier list moment where it's like, where is the logic?
I'm excited for the other ones to try them, but they were on like that tier is like an outside tier. I couldn't like tier it properly in that tier maker, but that tier is like an outside like to horizontally sided tier to the right, and this is now the actual bottom tier. If that makes sense. So this is the bottom.
I think it would make more
tiers.
sense. Like if the names of your tiers were like actually a relatable thing, right? But instead they're just kind of fun names, which I like, but I think that makes it confusing at the same time.
Well, I think I got my
like
names
if you had
confused.
if you had a B and a B minus, then it's like, okay, that would make sense. but because you have One Last Ride,
I think I got the names confused because like the One Last Ride tier would have been the tier horizontally placed that I would have played with them eventually with my last ride, and then the pay for
tier
your
list
sins
is like
would have
a
been the
puzzle.
bad tier.
Oh, it is Da Vinci Code.
Damn.
So I'm in the C plus tier. This is, I think, kind of almost like a little bit in the middle ground what Dylan was talking about, but just above that as far as people from being up, their characters I really, really like. The C plus is just fun tier. This is like if you have your core Avengers and you add Hawkeye and Black Widow in the movies, this is what this is for me. It's like, okay, that you need some more people on the team. Or you want to switch it up. Let's go. So I got Iron Man on there, which is very disappointing because on my tier, I thought he was going to be number 1. Just based on the previous games, he's always been fun. They took out my favorite move of his, and then I just feel that he's not that strong. And maybe some people will be happy about that. I'm someone that can bag on him sometimes for being an overrated character. But in both games, he's always been a powerhouse, and he's always been a character that I'm always like, we need him on the team. You got to like, he just is really leveled as far as he usually has good durability and good attacks, and he's speedy. But I like him in the game, and he is in the fun tier. That's what this pretty much is, but very just disappointing. He was kind of in the B tier, but I still dropped him because I looked today. I did one last ride.
One last play.
Tier, and he was still at 22, and I'm like, I've really not cared much about him at all, so he doesn't deserve to be in the B tier. Elsa Bloodstone, she was tons of fun. She was a surprise for someone I'm not that familiar with. Electra, and I think these are people that I play with them more. They could be in the B tier, but I feel pretty confident with them staying in the C plus tier. Electra, Drax, Deadpool is another disappointment because Deadpool I've loved in the previous 2 games. There's just something off about him, but he is someone I do plan on once I kind of finish lots of these riffs. I want to spend more time with because I've loved him in both games. He was Wolverine, and him in the first game were my main, so that's why it's a little disappointing for him not to be there. So I need to invest more time in that, and hopefully. But he just feels different. He almost feels like Iron Man, like a little depowered or something like that. You know, Taylor, can you fix that mic thing? You're bugging the shit out of me with putting that like that.
What?
Just take that off, thank you.
Like this?
Yeah. I thought I was stretching it out, so I was gonna get really mad at you.
I'm confused.
I'm very confused.
So go on.
No, hang on. When you had like where the mic's holding, you had it around the thing. I thought it was stretching it out, so I was getting really mad at you for a second.
Oh,
but
no.
It's
just like
fine,
a loose thing.
I was like, man, this is our gear. We hold nice, and you're stretching it out. Miss Marvel, she's tons of fun with all her stretch abilities. Lots of cool different powers. Venom, better than other games, but still just kind of in this fun tier. I think I've just decided he's never going to be a character that's going to be any of my A or B tiers, but I think it's the best version of Venom. Star-Lord, tons of fun. I love all his attacks. And then Scarlet Witch, just because she's a person that I like putting on the team, but I usually don't play with her that much. I just like the computer, at least in my game, is great at throwing out the heals. Nice. She's throwing out heals like every 30 seconds. I'm like, good for you, especially when we're getting into some hard stuff.
That's awesome.
And I do like some of her attacks. I think visually they're cool, like just the big red power balls and stuff like that with whatever. So, and I like her look. So, she's up there. I think even if I power up more, maybe she could be B tier one day. But that's the fun tier, C plus.
That's what she's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to give a quick rundown, so I had essentially my double S through A tier are like split into 5, so it's like top 5, then the top 10, top 15, top 20. So this next tier, the A minus tier, these are everyone that didn't quite make it in the top 20, but from here on out, I love all these characters, and I think it just goes to show how many great designs they did in this game, that they made so many characters just a lot of fun, even though they had so many of them. Like, yes, they did maybe make some compromises here or there, but I love so much of the characters in this game. It's just such an awesome game in general. So here we go. Captain Marvel, Thor, Gomorrah, Black Widow, Magneto, Thanos, and Ghost Rider. So
Gomorrah up there high.
She's pretty high. Hey. Yeah, I think she maybe doesn't make it in the top 20 because she is one of those characters I was talking about that feels like she has a lot of cookie cutter moves, like all of her moves other characters also have. So she doesn't feel terribly unique, but she's just very stylish, and I like the animations. Like when she swings her sword around, there's like just like this, I guess like the look of it's cruising through the wind is really satisfying. So she's a fun character. I don't know what else to say there. I think Thanos honestly maybe he would get a bump after doing that Thane trial. I just had a lot of fun with that. I really like Ghost Rider, but he didn't quite make my top 20, so sorry about that, Mr. Field. And yeah, I mean, I like all these characters, so.
I'm not in.
He's not in the top 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You've gone through 2 tiers, right?
I've gone through 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my 3rd tier. This is the Rider tier.
Rider tier.
So we got Drax, Captain America, and Gomorrah. So
Gomorrah's high for you too. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I really started to take a liking to the Guardians in this, and
did you like the full Guardians team? Or
Well,
do you always have Ghost Rider?
I always have Ghost Rider now. Like I used to do like the full Guardians team for the first little bit, and then I really started
Riders
to
of the
like
Galaxy. You're doing
Riders
over
of the
there?
Galaxy.
And Cap, tell me about
Cosmic
Cap.
Ghost Rider.
I'm surprised by Cap there.
Yeah, he
I don't know if that's higher or lower than I expected.
I think it's higher.
I started to really like his his shield attacks, stuff like that, and just playing with him like throughout some of the challenges and realizing like I had to level him up to do that one challenge to get his skin, and I really enjoyed playing with him, and he was kind of fun to use. So I've taken more of a liking to using him. Drax I find just particularly fun, and Gomorrah I'm liking a lot too, and I think it's a part of like a lot of guilt I have of just our live stream we did where I feel like I owe it to her to level her up and play as her.
All right, yeah, go back and check out that.
Hey,
on
she's
Twitch
a high
and
level
YouTube.
for me now. I've used her a lot since then.
Where do you have Groot and Rocket again? I think I've heard them, but or are they still coming up?
They haven't.
No, they're higher.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Wow. This is the B tier. This is the almost, and I'd say the same thing like Dylan said, every character from Up Now I love and would have no problem playing the whole game with these people, but they just didn't quite make the A and the S tier. Just because, I don't know, I just you gotta go with your gut sometimes, you know?
You do.
So I got 3 in there. I got Daredevil. That hurt me not to put him in the A tier, but it's just, he is a character, though, that I am enjoying more that I power him up, but I found in the early stages he's tough to play with because he dies very quick. And this is like when you don't have much iOS 08s or any of the ISOs. Yeah, I know. I should just start to keep doing that. But he is better. So I feel that he gets better as it goes along, but at the beginning it was a slog. Ghost Rider, I didn't know if I'd enjoy him. I don't enjoy him that much in the first game, and Taylor plays with him so much I kind of just wrote him off. But once I unlocked him and played with him, he's really fun. He's very unique. He, to me, is what Doctor Strange should be. Ghost Rider, he could have been in the fun tier, but I just like him a bit more than those fun people. And he's kind of tanky, too. He's very powerful.
He is very tanky.
Yeah, so I really like that. And Spider-Man, I like Spider-Man. I don't love all his attacks. I don't like the drone, web them up. I wish they did something else. So I don't love everything, but he has, if we ever did like ranking the extremes, he'd easily be in my top 5 as far as he webs up the guys, he brings them in, then creates that huge ball and just deciphers them all. That's not the word.
Deciphers them all.
Just
I like that
decimates
word.
them all. Yeah, deciphers them all. But he's
I
still,
feel like that's something Beast would do to someone.
yeah, and he's
Decipher
still
them.
fun. I like his actual, just like his quick strikes and whatnot. So that's the B tier. Almost made it to
Fair
that like Hall of Fame, but not quite.
All right, I'll go next. This is my A tier. So this is my top. This is my 20 through 15. These are my. We're cracking in the top 20 here. I'm gonna put Psylocke, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and I'm making a slight change here. I'm gonna put Captain America in that top 20 slot. So Cap, Cap is like proven to be. I think he's just a good member to have on the team. Like
He's the anchor.
He's very like defensive kind of support. Like the damage boost he has is really, really good. And then he just has like the shield move, which just makes it so he can really hold on in any situation. And then I love the shield just bouncing around from any enemy. Like he is very dorky. Like even like his posture is very proper. But he's a character that I think in my excitement tier list before the game came out, I think I had him quite a bit lower. And he ended up being pretty high for me. He's just good fit on like a lot of teams. Spider-Man and Miles Morales, I love both these characters. They're very unique. I think Miles was a surprise pick. It just gave him a lot of really interesting moves, like really explosive, massive like AoE on his moves. Like he's actually incredibly strong. Spider-Man's fun because he's got the unique, the bind abilities. Like yes, I mentioned Doctor Strange has one, but it's like other characters have different attributes, but he's really the only one who has a lot of bind. Like all of his moves have bind ability, which fits for the character, and I think it ends up making him like pretty useful on the team. As for other ones on there, yeah, Psylocke and Wolverine are just both really fun, kind of pretty straightforward characters. But I think Wolverine as well was a surprise pick. I think I also had him kind of similar to Captain America on my initial excitement tier list. I had him lower, but he ends up being really useful for the team, especially as you mentioned, like on the X-Men before Colossus came out. He didn't really have like Wolverine was really kind of the tankier one on the team because he does have the healing and he is beefy enough. So
his stagger attacks are so good,
and his
too.
self buff is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my 20 through 15.
So we're moving on up to the Swallow Your Soul tier.
Swallow your soul.
Swallow your soul.
Oh boy.
Gonna swallow your stinking soul. So I'm gonna do this one in specific order.
Okay.
Now I got Rocket and Groot at the end, building up then to Captain Marvel, Star-Lord, and then Black Panther. And Black Panther was almost into like my number 1 tier, just because like I found to really really like having him in there, but I bumped him just because I felt like I wanted to have just 6 in my top tier.
Specifically 6.
Specifically 6.
That's weird, but I respect it.
Like if it comes down to like my 4 characters and I have to swap one out, there's 2 other ones that I would go to before Black Panther.
Okay.
But I like Black Panther.
But he's warming that bench.
He is. He's warming it. He's keeping it toasty. And
nice.
I that being said, like I love his riffs and stuff like that. Like I think they were not his riffs, but the one to get his skin, I think it was the survival or whatever it was. Yeah. I thought that was a lot of fun. So that's where I
love
to, like,
his costume, the purple.
I love his costume. I had to play as him more to kind of like to get him stronger to do that challenge, and that's what kind of I thought like, oh, you know, he's actually like super awesome. I love him. He does feel like a little slow at times, but
he does. But his moves can make up for it because he can kind of dart around, dashing.
Who, Panther? You're saying
Panther?
Slow? Oh, I don't ever feel that.
Well, his movement speed is a little sluggish.
I guess it's just like I feel
but
like
his moves move him around.
I feel like he's just like a pinball because I'm just always attacking, and he's just like like he's all over the
in
map.
and out.
In and out.
Yeah, that's all I got for that tier.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is the A tier. These are
how many more tiers do you have?
This is my last 2.
You got 2 more?
A and then S tier.
Maybe I'll blast through my next 2 and then I'll be caught up with you guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
So A tier, I got Thor in there, I got Thanos, I got Spider-Gwen, I got Hawkeye, I got T'Challa, I got Cyclops and Colossus. I'll say that I think there's a chance Colossus, Cyclops, and Thor could maybe eventually go up to the S tier. Thor, I got to play with more just because there comes a point in the game when you want to be unlocking stuff, and he was just lower tier than some of my other S tier people, and he kind of fell behind a little bit, so I felt bad for that. But I love playing with him. I think the only thing is I know it sounds weird because he's a bulky guy. I wish he was a little quicker. I wish he was built a bit more like the Chris Hemsworth Thor. I don't like that he's so big. I get it's more combat.
I guess the flight can kind of make up
yeah,
for
it is. He just feels a bit more slower than I'd like, but that's fine. I love that it's the same thing as Cap will come up later. I love that just one of his throws, his heavy, is just the hammer throw, because in other games that's been an actual attack, and in the second game they took that out, and I was salty for years about that, because it's like that's the quintessential Thor thing is him throwing his hammer. So he's great. Colossus and Cyclops we talked about earlier, but they're just so much fun. I could see once I play with them more. Colossus, there's a chance, but Cyclops, I think, is really, he's becoming one of my favorites. If I had to really guess, I think he might be in the S tier when we'll probably do like another re-rankings when we do
new characters.
Yeah, or like even when we get the new DLC, I might say, oh, now that person's in S tier. So Cyclops, I didn't want to put those 2 in the S tier because I haven't spent enough time, but I just love them. They're 2 people that I feel like I want on my team all the time. Spider-Gwen, and she's the highest for me. I was she had my first tier, and that's where I'm disappointed by Miles, because with me, I saw Miles and her gameplay. I was like, oh, they both look like so much fun. I can't wait. And Miles didn't connect with me. I just love her attacks with the variety of them. I love the variety of them. You have one attack where she's spinning around and she's like just kind of kicking people. You have the attack where she jumps up and she webs people, not exactly the same way as like Spider-Man, but it's just like these attacks. And then my favorite, maybe just attack in the game, is the giant fucking web ball. I love it. I use it as much. It just has so many synergies with people. And when you're in a room surrounded by like 50 bad guys and you just need, because sometimes even the pulse attacks, those are good, but this just has so much range because it's so big and she's spinning it out forward. So I feel like I'm good at surviving with Spider-Gwen. T'Challa, these guys just talked about, tons of fun, very quick. I love how agile he is. And Thanos, I don't think an S tier, but I love what they did with him. He's very unique. I think I like he has moves like a boss, but I don't think they're as fun as Magneto and Loki, which, maybe a spoiler for later on, but like I like his teleport and punch. I like his big slam, but stuff like the shot from the eyes, I like it, but I think they could have picked a few more moves. I don't know, I guess, but I love he feels very unique, and he feels, even though I think Hulk might be more tanky, he feels like, and it's definitely because he's a high level for me right now, but he just feels so powerful, and I think they did that on purpose. So, and
he does have crazy good stats. So.
Yeah, and those are just nitpicks. I love Thanos. I'm happy they put him in there, and they really delivered on him. So
nice. My A+ tier. So this is 15 to 11, I guess you could say. This is going to be Colossus, Cyclops, Miss Marvel, Luke Cage, and Star-Lord. So yeah, Colossus and Cyclops. Once again, I could see them climbing up as well, but
Yeah.
just because they are new, I think that's why they couldn't quite crack the top 10, but they are amazingly fun. Miss Marvel is just insanely powerful. Like, her spinning move is just, like, ridiculously strong. It's pretty crazy. Star-Lord, he just has 1 million.
Wow, Star-Lord.
Yeah, he's really high up. He just has, like, 1 million synergies. I like all the elementalists. Like, there's 2 other ones that I haven't mentioned yet because they clearly made it into the top 10, but I just love that play style. He's a lot of fun. And then even, I think I gained a lot of appreciation for him doing his solo trial where you have to fight Thanos by yourself, which was a really fun challenge. And I think it gave me appreciation for like the mechanics of that character. And then, the one really surprising one there, I think, is Luke Cage, because I put him very much at the like very bottom of my excitement. Didn't really care for much in the other games, just thought he's kind of like a boring tank. And I don't even know what it is about him in this game. He just has a great like feel to him as he's trucking around. Very powerful, very, very tanky, which obviously fits the character. But yeah, he ended up being like he's just like a go-to tank for me. It's either him or Hulk and Colossus now. When I need a tank on the team, he's always there to answer the call when Venom seems to not show up. So yeah, maybe. My last is top 10. Maybe I could do my 10 through 5, or
sure, because you only got one more tier left. Yeah, do that. And then...
Sure. Yeah. So this is now entering the S tier. So these are my favorite characters. This is the top 10. Here we got Elsa, Hulk, Storm, Loki, and Electra. So Elsa, really, really fun range character. I've used her. I pretty much always have her or Hawkeye on a team. Unless I'm doing like a specific trial, then I try to build it exactly for that trial. But otherwise, like, I always have like some sort of range character on, and she's just a lot of fun. I think the reason she doesn't crack top 10 is sometimes I feel like she's a little weak, like just power, like raw damage wise. She just doesn't seem like as strong as some other characters. Hulk is just like a go-to. I think he's my highest level character just because he like carries the team so much. He's very tanky. He does an insane amount of damage. His recent costume is badass. Like, he's just when you need someone on the team, he'll fit into any team well.
He's
the synergies. Storm, as I just mentioned, the elementalist aspect. I just love all of her moves, the ice moves, the electricity. She just has so much range, such a powerful character, and she's definitely like my excitement tier list before the game came out. I had 3 characters in the very top. It was Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Storm. Storm, just because seeing some like footage of her before the game came out, I was like, man, this character looks like exactly what I'm looking for in a character, and it definitely answered that call. Whereas Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, unfortunately, did not. The last 2, Loki and Electra. Loki is just, I think when I first unlocked him, he just felt like you're playing as a boss going through this level. Like, his heavy attack is definitely a boss move. His moves are a little bit slower, but I think it like fits the character for how powerful he is. I like that he summons the clones, and I love his look. He's just so much fun. And then Electra's up here because I kind of had 2 characters that carried me, like when I was blasting through Superior, trying to unlock Thanos as quick as possible. I was using like my best characters. There was 2, Electra, and then one I'll mention in a bit, that were just like they were my anchors. I had them on. They just do insane amount of damage, a lot of stagger, and I just feel like I really like their movesets really fit well with my playstyle, and so that's why Electra is really high up. She's just so much fun to dart around.
Nice,
really strong ninja. So that's my top 10, or leading my top 10 through 6.
So, I'm not gonna lie, when I was building this with the pictures, they did not have Loki and Thanos' pictures in there, and I completely forgot about them, so I'm gonna sneak them into that second tier right after Black Panther.
Just dropping them in?
Yeah, they're both of them. I love both of them so much.
What about Colossus and Cyclops? Did you mention them?
Colossus and Cyclops, they would go, I mean, just because I haven't gotten to experience them enough, they go for the tier of the characters that I still want to play and like learn more of.
The outside tier.
The outside tier.
Even
The horizontal tier.
There's 2 of those tiers.
Yeah. But my Spirit of Vengeance tier, so going from bottom to the very number
This is your top 6.
Your top 6.
Most people do top 5,
6.
but you're Taylor Fields, you do top 6.
Top 6, yeah. So we got Wolverine. He's just such a good go-to. I really like him.
Yeah.
Usually,
like known Logan hater as well, so this is surprising.
Yeah, apparently. If my whole team is down and I'm not cubing it out, Wolverine is usually my last guy alive, and I go to him and he just tanks it out, and I can sometimes usually pull through with him. Then Magneto.
Sometimes usually.
Yeah, sometimes usually. Magneto is I've come to really like him. He's just great if I need to just dish out like heavy amounts of damage. And I like his synergies. Iron Man, after him, I've taken a huge like an Iron Man. I bit the bullet and I threw him into my team so I could rank him up, get him up to like the 50-60 range, and he's just awesome. I love just swapping out with him and just using his synergies and stuff with the team. It's great.
And that's why I'm excited for this game, because you were on the same board of us that you weren't a big fan of Iron Man at the beginning.
You let me
so that's
down.
why I like the way you talk about him and the way you talk about Storm or Luke Cage. People that I still have not invested the amount of time in, and I'm still excited that at some point I'm like, okay, I've leveled up like my core, like whatever, 15 guys to 100. I want to start doing like in years from now, or just even months from now. It's like I want to dip my toes into this camp, and gets me excited. Hopefully that I turn around similar
A lot of
on
depth
Iron Man.
there,
Yeah. After that, Hulk. I mean, when we were playing, like Hulk, I didn't have Ghost Rider yet, so Hulk was just my go-to. He was just so good. I love him, and he's still great. Miles Morales. When I was picking my team to go with Ghost Rider, I was thinking, okay, I want to try some new characters. I thought I'll just go right with Miles Morales. You know, I like Spider-Verse, and the character I loved him. He was just awesome. His attacks were unlocking, his new abilities, they were great. I love how much damage he dishes, like as an area of an effect, and it's just great. If I need to, I'll swap from Ghost Rider to him, and I'll just fucking nuke the whole fucking landscape.
Delete all those minions.
Oh yeah. Number one easily is Cube Rider, Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
he's so good. I've never had like such good synergy with a character in a game for so long. It's just great. When I pop in as him, like I feel like I can take on the whole fucking universe. Like it's amazing.
You did save us a few times on 24-hour stream. Yes, there's cubes involved, but Ghost Rider was usually the last one standing all the time.
He's strong.
Usually,
He's tanky.
Yeah, so this is my S tier. I didn't do a top 5. I didn't do top 6. I did a lucky 7 because I tried top 5, but I just
do it.
There was just two guys that I just couldn't leave out. So I'll start with them because they were come later on. But as Loki and Magneto, two of those. Magneto, I loved him in the first game. In the second one, he took a big decrease. So I was quite worried because I think Magneto is a very unique type of individual, and I think there is lots of room to make him really cool or just really lame. And I'd seen that before in a game. So he's a guy that is usually, there's always at least two of these guys when I'm playing in the game, unless I run and just try out, go full noon, I go do a lower rift. I usually go, okay, I need 2 strong guys, and then let's get some other guys, rank them up. These 7, I usually have 2 of them on there. Magneto's one that's usually on there just because he's so powerful. I love, and same thing kind of like Spire Gwen, him literally just taking rocks out of the ground, throwing them. I've probably used that move the most. I love that it's still like a synergy move too when it shouldn't be, but you can still synergize with people. His finish is great. He just creates a metal tornado, and it's just the best one.
It's really good. Yeah,
my favorite one is, and another S tier person is Wolverine. I love Wolverine, but my favorite thing is if I do that and I wait a few seconds and I switch over to Logan and I do his extreme, so I just claw everyone while they're in the tornado. It's fantastic. So yeah, Magneto's great. Wolverine, he is the most arcadey in this entire game. He still feels like he's part of this game, but he just feels like he's out of one of those Marvel Capcom sort of deals. Even his clash, his claw marks, everything like that. He's so much fun. I think kind of like Taylor, as anytime I am in a difficult spot, I tag in Wolverine because, like I said, I think his stagger damage is ridiculous. I just think he has lots of cool attacks, and I love his look as well. I don't love his finish, but I've kind of grown used to it to use it in type of situations like that. Back to Loki, Dylan kind of already summed up because Dylan had unlocked Loki before, and he just said he feels like a boss, and that's exactly what he feels like. He's somebody, there might be a bit biased because I've won him since the first game, but I just think they delivered on him. I agree he is a bit slower, like when he does like that ice move, it takes a while. He'll like step back, put his arm, and then do
Very
that.
cinematic.
Yeah, but it does lots of damage, and I just love, same thing, his extreme too. He just throws his ice dagger and just like he's just very, very a lot of thought put in that character, so I was happy with that. Hulk, I love Hulk. He is, I've said before in other games, they've never gotten Hulk right. They got Hulk 100% right. And I said Thanos might be the most powerful, and maybe Hulk is up there. But the thing about Hulk, he's just fun. That's where Thanos, I think, is lots of fun, but he got the bump tier where Hulk is he just feels smooth, and it's good to play with, and you never feel, he is tanky, but he doesn't feel like that. He feels like a tank with a Mercedes engine or something like that. He's so much fun. And he's not as fast as Colossus. He's just like the right amount of heavy, the right amount of powerful, the right amount of speedy. He's just cool. He's just awesome, and he's just what the Hulk should be, where I feel like they've never done that. Captain America, he's my boy. He's like usually on the team just because he is a good defense player. I don't think he has like a prime attack move. They're all pretty basic. It's just a shield dash. I was kind of hoping for in lots of games he'll have
I guess like shield, his projectile. that bounces around?
I was kind of hoping for in other games he's had one where he'll just throw the shield and he'll kind of do a circle, kind of like what Daredevil does. But I get it; they kind of made him more defensive, and it works for him. Captain Marvel is somebody that is in the S tier as well because she's my highest ranked character other than Thanos, who I unlocked. I love her just because she kind of has everything I like. She has the brawl, she has lots of power, she has projectiles, and she's just a beast. So I play with her a lot. She's kind of one of my go-tos. And then I left her for last, not because she's my favorite, just because I'm surprised she got on there, was Wasp. Wasp I couldn't believe. I remember when we got her in the 24-hour stream, and I was like, okay, try out Wasp. And one, it's just she's powerful, very unique. I love any characters with the tornadoes because the synergies are off the chain. But I talked about it in the review, but just the fact of the throwing objects and making them big, she's so creative. She's like Loki. She's very quick. So I couldn't believe she got on the S tier, but I love Wasp. She's a big standout for me, and I was not expecting that. I think I rated her like middle tier when we did the predictions, but yeah, she's great. So yeah, I love, and these are like, I just love this game. There's so many, because in other games I feel like I would only have 5, and then the rest are kind of like, oh yeah, I kind of like them here and there. There's so many characters, even the A tier, I just love. So that's my trash snail ranking of all these characters.
So here's my top 5. This is the double S tier. The
double S tier.
I have like a declarative number 1, but then 2 through 4, I would say, I don't know, you could probably switch them around. So I'll just go through them. Crystal, to me, like, you know, I love Storm, I love Star-Lord, but she is the most interesting elementalist to me. I mean, all of them can fly, all of them have a few different elemental attacks, but she's got all 4 elements, which is cool. And I think the thing I like the most is that when you use all of her moves and you like hold the button as long as you can, it switches her default attack. So now her light attack just becomes like a light rock that she throws, and then her heavy attack, she like rolls just giant boulder. Same thing for the water, the wind, and the fire. So I just thought that was like an incredibly unique thing, and I don't know how much it really changes like the effect of the ability, but it just is visually really awesome. Even like her shield is like her just putting up this big rock wall, which I think is awesome. So I just love the look of her moves, and then her ultimate is just like this tsunami, water, tornado, whatever. It's just this giant mess of elements.
I gotta play with her more.
It's yeah, she's just so satisfying. She's really fast, darts around, and then yeah, just I don't know. I think the ability that her default attacks switch around with her with whatever she switches to with her last used move is just incredibly unique and really fun. So she's just the most colorful and animated to me, and I think that's why I like her so much. Number four I'll put as Daredevil. I think I just love playing as Daredevil. I love that character so much. He's so stylish. I like both of his costumes, like his default red or his kind of knight, his black one is really cool. Unfortunately he has 2 moves that are kind of the same, where he's like in spot spinning around. But I love his spinning like forward move is really fun, and then he has like the unique debuff, which I think is a pretty interesting move. But I just love playing as Daredevil. Like I don't think we'll ever get a full-on Daredevil game, or you know maybe someday, but it's just not terribly likely.
Not in the near future.
So the fact that I can just go in here and mess around with Daredevil, he's just, you know, the way he looks when he's walking around, I just love that character so much. So it's satisfying to get a game that I can play as him.
You need some help?
These next two I kind of discovered around the same time, Wasp and Hawkeye. You get them in the same level in the Avengers Tower, but I eventually got to a point, like I think when I was when I was blasting through ultimate difficulty, because when I was getting through superior, I was trying to do it as fast as humanly possible, and I was sticking to like Electra and then my number 1 that I'll talk about in a second.
Good ones.
Yeah, my guaranteed picks. But when it was in ultimate mode, I found the difficulty actually went down a bit, or maybe it's just because I was higher level. I'm not sure what it was, but this is where I was experimenting a lot and trying every character. Like I've played all these characters a decent amount at this point. And these two, I just kept coming back to them. Like Wasp, as you mentioned, the synergies are off the charts. The fact that you can throw her own tornado and then shoot bullets into it, which just does an insane amount of damage. Like that's the highest damaging like solo character thing I've experienced in the game. The fidget spinner, the giant candies falling from the sky. I don't use her charge at all. I kind of forget it exists.
I use it for bosses every once in a while, just to take down some stagger. It's pretty handy.
I just use the tornado.
It's really handy with the synergy, her charge, but yeah.
Yeah. So she's just super satisfying because of the synergies, like her own solo synergies, but also just with other characters as well. Even just like the dash, how she shrinks really quick, it's really fun. Yeah. And then Hawkeye is just my man. Like before the game came out, I was like, man, I hate the look for this character. Yeah. It's really disappointing. But honestly, it kind of grew on me. And then even this costume, it's like it's just slightly brighter, but I just like it more. And he's just as I mentioned, like I like to have the classic like kind of main like range damage dealer, close range damage dealer, kind of tanky character, and like supportive. I like to go with that classic 4 core, and of that, there's not a ton of all like fully ranged focused characters, but Hawkeye is my preferable of them. I just the basic attacks, just firing the arrows, or all of his like special moves with the different elements. I didn't think he'd be as element heavy as he is, but it ends up being really fun.
Yeah, they're all unique. That's the thing I worried. Even the first game, they're a little repetitive, but they're all different.
The electric one is kind of like a cone attack. The fire one, or the bomb one, is just kind of like I guess it has a little bit of a delay, but it has a big AoE. The one you can like snipe across the whole map, and then just like the pure damage dealing one, you can charge up and aim. So he's just super satisfying to play, one of my favorites. And then my number one pick is Black Panther. So this guy, he's been my favorite for about a month now. When I was playing through Ultimate or Superior, as I mentioned, Electra and Black Panther were my two go-tos. And I just really fell in love with Black Panther's moveset. It is weird because he is kind of like, his movement speed is a little slow, but it's because of like all the mobility he has with his moves that I think it makes up for it, because you can get to a point where you're just constantly using moves and you're never really just standing still. And they just did such a good job. Like, he can charge in with the claw that has just like a really high amount of stagger, which is really good against bosses. But then you can combo that into like his spinning like ascension move, which works really well because he also has his double jump attack is just like, he just essentially does a quick spin. But if you use it on top of an enemy, you like bounce off them. So you use the ascension move and then you bounce off an enemy's head and then you get another attack on the way down. It's just like, it feels like a Smash character or something, like the combos he has, like so agility focused more than any other character. Cause there's a lot of agility Marvel heroes, like Spider-Man's one of them, but that's not really what they made his moveset like in this game. They made him more about like, the binding and stuff. But Black Panther is he's just darting around from enemy to enemy, sneaking up on him. Huge amount of stagger, huge amount of damage, and he's my go-to whenever I need just a strong damage dealer, someone to take out a boss. I can always go back to my man Black Panther, and that also is a surprising pick. I don't remember where I had him on my excitement tier list.
Not that high.
He wasn't. Yeah, I don't think he was in my top 20 by any means. Yeah. So, I think I've been surprised by so many characters and let down by really only a couple, just Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. But that's my top 5, and that's all of our lists now.
Yeah. It's all our list until that DLC drops. I'm very excited to see where those people rank. I have no idea.
Honestly, they could be pretty high. Morbius is the only real wild
Morbius the one, I think I'm preparing for him to be in the middle, but he could end up being the funnest. Who knows? I never thought Wasp was going to be one of my funnest characters and favorites, so who knows? But it's very, very exciting. We'll be there to cover it. Taylor, you have anything else to say?
I do want to shout out, if you have not checked out our Facebook page, go over there and take a look at our new poll happening right now.
You got to do this at the beginning of the cast. You never remember to do it.
I remember, but I didn't get really I had to take my notes because I was venting out at Dylan. I was pondering, and I had to get that out there.
It's true. You were pretty mad at me. And then you briefly forgot about it. That didn't
really for the sake of the fans.
Okay, for the fans.
We have to. We have to put Gauntlet stuff aside.
Yeah,
when the cameras are off, we're swearing at each other all the time.
All the time.
That's true.
But check out our Facebook page. See the Blockbuster Summer poll happening right now. It changes every day at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But it's great.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we do here, just drop us a review on Apple Podcasts. We're trying to get to 200, so a nice 5-star written review specifically. If you like what we do, all the audio and video feeds are in the description, whether you watch on YouTube or any of wherever your heart desires as far as podcast feeds. We're there. Like I said earlier, go to Patreon. Lots of good stuff dropping off and happening. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting, but I don't think there is. So until next time, we promise you it'll not be boring.
Yeah, we'll see you for Marvel Knights DLC.
Oh, yeah.
Night of the Vampire.
I'm in.